All right, this is 7.8. This is called Cramer's rule. All right, this is another way to solve systems of equations. I say you are welcome because this is probably the easiest way. That's why we do it last. Yep. When you're solving for a variable, you're going to replace the variable column with the answer column. You'll see what I mean by that in a second. But what you're going to do is you're going to find the determinant like 4 different times. The determinant, remember, is our majors minus the minors, right? So we're going to talk about coefficient matrices versus whatever variables you're looking at. So look, if I was given this system of equations, 2x minus 5y equals 3. See that? Negative 4x plus 3y equals 8. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to find the determinant. You're going to find the determinant. That's our D. If you look, where did I get these numbers? 2, negative 4, negative 5, and 3. They're the coefficients. So the first thing you do is find the determinant. You just use the coefficient matrix. Then you're going to find the determinant using the x values and using the y values. So look at this D sub x. Everybody see this D sub x right here? I have 3, 8, and then negative 5 and 3. Where did I get those numbers from? 3 and 8 are the what? The answers. Negative 5 and 3 are what? The y coefficients. In the D sub y, what did I plug in for the y column? What I plug in right here for the y's? The answers. So whatever you're looking for, guys, whatever you're looking for, right? I'm looking for D sub y, so I put the answers in the y column. In the D sub x, I put the answers in the x column. Does that make sense?
Wait, why did you?
Because that's how you solve the equation. Because if you were solving, say if I was solving for x, I would eliminate them, or I would eliminate the y's, right? So I put the answers in there. You'll see why this works out. It's just a pattern. You'll see why it works out. One sec. All right, so let's solve this system of equations. I have to find 3 things. I have to find the determinant. Then I have to find D what?
Dx.
D sub x and D sub y. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find just D. You can just say D, little y, whatever. I'm going to find the determinant. So I have 4 and 3 for my x's, negative 2, negative 5 for my y's. Agreed? Mm-hmm. So how do I solve this?
4 times negative 5.
Okay, so let's write that down. 4 times negative 5, then what? Minus. Good, Mia. Minus what?
3 times negative
3 times negative 2. What is 4 times negative 5? Negative 20 minus what is 3 times negative 2? Negative 6. So when I go to simplify this, guys, 2 minuses become a. So my D equals negative what? Negative 14. Okay. Questions on how we did that? All right. Now we're going to find D sub x. So instead of x, the x column, what am I plugging in? The answers, 10 and 11. Hannah, you with me? So instead, and then in the y column, I put what?
The answers.
Not the answers. I put in the coefficients for the y's. If you're looking for x, you put the answers in for x. If you're looking for the D sub y, you put the answers in for the y. So now I'm going to say what times what?
10 times negative 5.
Okay, so 10 times negative 5 minus what? 11 times negative 2. So 10 times negative 5 is negative 50 minus what's 11 times negative 22? Sorry, negative 11 times 2, negative 22. So now I have 2 minuses equal a. So, all right, so negative 50 plus 22. My D sub x equals negative 28. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to find d sub what? So instead of the y's coefficients, I'm going to put the, not the x's. I'm going to put the answers. So I have, what am I going to plug in?
Well, for the x or the y?
For the x's, what do I put?
4.
I put 4 and 3. For the y's, what do I put? 10 and 11. I put the answers. Whatever little letter you're looking for, d sub x, d sub y, d sub z, you just put the answers in that column. And now we do the exact same thing, guys. We're going to say majors. So what are my major numbers?
44.
Say whatever you put in what column?
Whatever you're looking for is where you put the answers. So 4 times 11 minus what? 3 times 10. What is 4 times 11? Minus 30. What's 44 minus 30? What's 44 minus 30? 14. Okay, so I found these three numbers. And you guys are like, well, how does this help me? We're trying to do what to these two equations? What are we trying to do? What is the purpose of this problem? To solve them. I want to find out what x equals and what y equals. The way that you do this, guys, you take the x determinant and the y determinant, right? You're going to have an ordered pair. Agreed? And you divide it by the original determinant of the coefficients. So what is your d sub x? What did you find out d sub x was? Negative 28 divided by what was the determinant that we got at the beginning? Negative 14. What's d sub y? What do you find out y was? 14. Divided by what was the determinant that we found at the beginning? Negative 14. What's negative 28 divided by negative 14?
2.
What is it? 2. What's 14 divided by negative 14? There's the solution to your equations. How do I know that I'm right?
Plug it back in.
Take 2 and negative 1 and plug it back in. So what you do first, let's go through this. The first thing you do is you find the determinant. You use the coefficients. You find the determinant. Then you find the determinant for d sub x, d sub y. Say there's a z, d sub z. All you do is whatever little letter you have, like d sub x, that's instead of the coefficients, you put the answers. And then at the end, you just divide them. So you don't have to go through the elimination. You don't have to go through the Gaussian Jordan. When you have 3 variables, this is so much easier. So much easier than doing the elementary row, the elementary row operations and adding row 3 to row 2 and all this stuff. It's so much simpler. Do another one together. All right. Use Cramer's rule. First of all, let's write our augmented matrix. What's my x column? Negative 1, 0, 1, and 4, right? All right, what's my second row?
2, negative 1, 1,
Negative 3, okay, and then what?
0, 1, negative 3, 1.
Does everybody agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, what is 4, negative 3, and 1?
The answers.
Those are my answers, okay? Agreed? Okay. What are these numbers in here? The coefficients. So how many determinants are we going to find for this one? The last one we found 3 because we had two variables and a coefficient matrix. How many are we going to find here? Why 4? Not because there's 4 terms. Because there's 3 variables and you have to find what? How do I know what to divide everything by? The first one. I have to find the determinant of the coefficients. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is a long process, but it's easy. I'm going to write out just my coefficients. So negative 1, 0, 1. 2, negative 1, 1, 0, 1, negative 3. Agreed? Okay, if I'm going to find the determinant here, I have a couple steps I need to do.
To do the first row and the second.
I have to recopy, good, Mia, the first and the second columns. Remember this from last week? Did I copy the numbers correctly? Okay. So let's look at our majors first. Here, here, and here, right? You guys with me?
Yes.
So major minus minor. So what's negative 1 times negative 1? Sorry, negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 3.
Negative 3.
Negative 3. What's 0 times 1 times 0?
0.
0. And what's 1 times 2 times 1?
2.
Everybody agree? Okay, now let's do the minors. So I got one there, and one there. Everybody with me? Okay, so what is 0 times negative 1 times 1? 0. What's 1 times 1 times negative 1? Negative 1. And negative 3 times 2 times 0?
0.
0. So I'm left with negative 3 plus 2, which is negative 1, minus what? Negative 1. Negative 1 minus negative 1 is?
It's 0.
0. Okay, so my determinant here is 0.
Oh, but you can't find anything that's 0.
Good. Do I have to continue on and find the rest of them?
No.
No. Why is that? You're going to take d sub x and divide it by d. You're going to take d sub y, divide it by d. You're going to take d sub z and divide it by d. But in this case, guys, what is d every single time? 0. What happens when your denominator is 0? Can't do it. There's no solution, right? It's undefined. So your answer here would be no solution. And the reason why is because when you found the original determinant, there's nothing you can do with that. Just wanted you guys to be aware of that. That could possibly happen. Just make sure you are aware. If you went through and found the next, d sub y or d sub x, you would have been fine because you would have put it in your calculator and been like, wait, what? You can't do that. But that's okay. All right, let's do one more. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is write out what? I'm going to write out my augmented matrix. What's my first row?
Negative 1.
Negative 1, 2, negative 3, and 1. What's my second row? 2, 0, 1, 0. What's my third row?
3. -4. 4. 2.
Perfect. Okay, so these are my what? These are my coefficients. And these are my answers. Very good. Okay? We good? We okay with that? All right, so first thing I'm going to find is just the main determinant. So I'm going to take my coefficients, negative 1, 2, and 3. 2, 0, negative 4. Negative 3, 1, and 4. And I'm going to find the determinant here. So in order to do that, what do I have to do?
Put the first 2 columns.
Rewrite the first 2 columns. Good. Then we have our major minus minor. Remember that order matters. So my majors are going to be here, here, and here, right? So what's negative 1 times 0 times 4? 0, all right? Then we have 2 times 1 times 3. 6. Then we have negative 3 times 2 times negative 4. Positive 24, okay? Minus
0.
Perfect. 0. What's negative 4 times 1 times negative 4?
4.
4. And then 4 times 2 times 2.
16.
Plus 16. So I have, what's 24 and 6, guys?
30.
30 minus, what's 4 and 16? 20. So my determinant here is how much? 10. Perfect. So now find your letters. Let's find D sub x. So instead of the x column of my matrix, what am I plugging in? The answer. So I'm going to put 1, 0, and 2. Does everybody see that? Since we're finding x, I'm going to plug the answers in right here for x. So then the next column is the same. What is it? 2, 0, negative 4. And then what's the third column? Negative 3, 1, and 4. So what do I do now? I have to recopy the first and second. Good. Now I do the exact same thing, majors and minors. So my majors would be here, here, and here. So what is 1 times 0 times 4? 0. What's 2 times 1 times 2? And then what's negative 3 times 0 times negative 4? Good. Minus. What's 2 times 0 times negative 3? 0. What's negative 4 times 1 times 1? Negative 4. And what is 4 times 0 times 2? 0. So 0 plus 4 plus 0 is 4 minus, what's 0 minus 4 plus 0? Negative 4. So what does this equal? D sub x equals 8. Once you guys do this a couple times, it's really simple. It's just a little tedious at the beginning. So now we're going to find D sub y. So guys, look at your original matrix. I'm looking for y. So in the y column of my coefficients, what am I going to plug in instead?
X.
Not x.
Answer.
The answers. So I have negative 1, 2, 3. That's my x column. Negative 1, 2, 3. In the y column, I'm plugging in the answers. So it's 1, 0, 2. And then in the z or the last column, it's going to be what?
3, negative 3, 1.
Negative 3, 1, and 4. So how do I solve this? What's the process? What do I start with?
The two.
Recopy the first two. So negative 1, 2, and 3. 1, 0, 2. Major and minors, yes? So I have 1, 2, 3. What's negative 1 times 0 times 4? What's 1 times 1 times 3? What's negative 3 times 2? Negative 6 times 2? Negative 12. Minus.
Zero, negative 2.
Okay, so I have 3 times 0 times negative 3 is 0. 2 times 1 times negative 1 is minus 2. 4 times 2 times 1 is? 4 times 2 times 1 is? Okay, good. So I have 3 minus 12, negative 9 minus what?
6.
What's negative 9 minus 6?
Negative 18.
So D sub y equals negative 15. Now what am I going to try and find? Well, how many letters do we have? Sure.
You have to find Z, right?
Yep, we got to find Z.
What?
You have to plug in the answers for Z.
So now, guys, I'm going to take my coefficients. I'm going to use the coefficients for x, the coefficients for y, but since I'm trying to find z, what do I plug in the answer? What do I plug in the z column? The answers. God bless you. So you have negative 1, 2, 3, negative 1, 2, and 3, 2, 0, negative 4, 2, 0, negative 4, And then instead of negative 3, 1, 4, I put
102.
1, 0, 2. And in order to solve this, what do I do now?
2 columns.
I recopy. And I have my majors. So I have, what's negative 1 times 0 times 2? 0. What's 2 times 0 times 3? What's negative 4, 2, and 1? Minus 8. Good. Minus. What's 3 times 0 times 1? 0. What's negative 4 times 0 times negative 1? Good. And then 2 times 2 times 2. So I have 0 plus 0 minus 8 is negative 8 minus what's 0 plus 0 plus 8? 8. So D sub Z equals negative what? Negative 16. So now you guys are like, okay, big deal, I got all these things. Now you take each one and you divide it by the original determinant. This is going to be an ordered triple. So it's D sub X, D sub Y, and D sub Z. What was our D sub X? What was it? 8. And what was the original determinant?
10.
So 8 divided by 10. What was D sub Y? Negative 15 divided by 10. And what was D sub Z? Negative 16, divided by 10. So your ordered triple is what?
4 over 5. -3.
4 over 5, negative 3 over 5, and negative 8 over 5. Now, if you guys were to solve those, this is your X, your Y, your Z. If you were to solve using the row echelon form, using Gaussian elimination with back substitution, whatever, I guarantee you guys would have been lost because all 3 of your answers are what kind of numbers? They're all fractions. Everything you guys have been working with is the nice, pretty whole numbers. It works out super easy. But this is another reason that we like to use Cramer's rule because it makes your computation much simpler. The hardest thing you guys had to do was multiply 4 times 2 times 2 or something like that. Yeah. But what you need to remember, this is what I always tell everybody, write out your augmented matrix. Write out, can you grab that please? Write out your coefficients and your answers. You find your first, okay, like I was saying, when Sky gets back, like I was saying, what you need to do to keep yourself organized is write out your augmented matrix. So you have your coefficients and your answers. The first thing you're going to do is find your D matrix. That's just your coefficients. Then you're going to find D sub X, D sub Y, D sub Z, whatever they're asking you for. And when you do that, you replace whatever little letter you're looking for with the answers. You just got to pay attention to what you're doing and then take your time. And then at the end, you divide D sub X divided by D. D sub Y, you're welcome, divided by D. D sub Z, however many letters you have. It's not a complicated process. It's a little different because you guys haven't seen it before, but it's not anything you guys can't handle. You with me? You have a question?